Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah. Do you think it'll be at Raylan's hand, the Albanians, and then Raylan gets away? I mean, this is actually something that we should probably look into a little bit.
It's interesting because, look, it's interesting because I can see a scenario where we get a second part 2, essentially, of the Nicky Augustine situation.
Yeah.
Where he sort of lets the Albanians take him. I just don't know, like, what I was trying to figure out, and we didn't talk about this too much, but because it was only like 2 minutes of the episode, but the Albanians do show up and take both Mansell and Raylan with them, disarm them, and take them to wherever they're taking them. And they throw the gun into the river, which is not a great day for Raylan. But I wonder why Raylan went along without a fight on that. He just kind of very easily handed over his gun and went along with the Albanians. Why do we think that happened?
Yeah, that's a good question. Why not? He really didn't even protest at all. If you think about it, I mean, he just handed over. You're making a big mistake. Or
yeah, I mean, he told him, hey, you might not want to get your fingerprints on that one.
Yeah, but that was it. Yeah, that's a good question.
I'm going to come with you, but you're not going to take my gun, or I'm not going to go with you, but I'm not going to stop you from taking him, or anything like that. Like you would expect Raylan to have some sort of line delivery there, and he just didn't.
Yeah.
Just hands his gun over.
Yeah. So maybe, I don't know, maybe he's thinking something else. I don't know.
Could be. Maybe it's a longer game plan here, but we'll see. So I do see it potentially ending up as a sort of Nicky Augustine situation where Raylan maybe lets the criminals kill Mansell, or kind of an inverse Nicky Augustine situation where he stops them from doing it because he's more mature now, or he's, regrets the decisions he's made in the past or whatever. So.
Yeah. Well, at least there's something to look forward to for the final episode coming up.
Episode coming up this week, and we'll be back to talk about that right after it's done. So that's our production update. It'll be probably Thursday this week when you'll hear the next episode of Groundless, and then back to our normal schedule after that for the remainder of season 6 before we wrap up our coverage of Justified.
Yeah,
which is such a weird thing to say.
I know, huh?
And, in the meantime, what you should do is you should check us out on social media. We're at Groundless Pod and at Groundless Podcast. You can find us on Instagram or Twitter or Reddit. You can also email us with your questions, your complaints, your corrections, your love troubles, of course. That's groundlesspodcast@gmail.com. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We say it in that order because that's the easiest order to do it. And subscribe is where you hit the little button in your podcast app. That makes sure that you're going to get every episode of the show as it's released automatically downloaded to your device. You don't have to go through any effort to listen to our dulcet tones. Fill your ear holes. It'll automatically take care of it for you. Rate is where you give us a rating of 5 stars in the appropriate podcast app, whichever one you use, whether it's Spotify or Podcast Addict or Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, whatever. And then review, of course, is where you take the time to write us a written review and tell everybody how much you like the show. We really do appreciate it, especially the rates and reviews. That really does get us some additional exposure, gets more people listening to the podcast. We've really seen a spike with this new season. So thank you. Those of you who are spreading the word, we really do appreciate it. And don't forget to tell a friend, tell family, tell somebody who is enjoying the show about our show as well. So thank you very much. We appreciate that. So I think that's about it. And tune back in here in a few days to hear our thoughts on the finale of Justified City Primeval. Back with our normal schedule after that. And then and thank you for listening.